evening, Gotham. Good evening, Metropolis. Emerald City, Xanadu, Babylon, to the ISS, and the rest of you. Welcome to the number one podcast that nobody knows about and even fewer people watch. I am Scooter McGee. You can find me on the World Wide Web, scootermcgee.com. That website is in the process of being revamped. I am a retired broadcaster. This started as a lark because of military exercises involving Belarus to the north and the Sea of Azov and the Black Sea to the south and those pesky Ukrainians in the way. And calls of peers of mine who continue to insist that me leaving radio when I retired in 2018 and then left in 19 said that I should not have done that. So I still do the project with the Conspiracy Keepers. And you can Google the Conspiracy Keepers and you'll see the Conspiracy Keepers. And you'll see work that we did starting 2005, 2006, long before I uh, started a career in talk radio and then a career in talk radio. And we're still doing the Conspiracy Keepers. So I encourage you to find them, theconspiracykeepers.com. Uh, Social media, Scooter McGee. Twitter, Facebook was Scooter McGee. Twitter, the Scooter McGee. But ScooterMcGee.com should get rebooted here in the next 36 to 48 hours, thanks to FEMA Region 4, and it'll get fixed. So let's have a Coke and a smoke and say hi. So there is going to be some clothing changes, because I'll tell you why. I am seeing it in real time. I observed it for Gulf War One, coming out of a failure of private military schools, but understanding what I call strategery. But I understand strategy. I understand tactics. I understand guerrilla warfare. I understand Sun Tzu. There's a lot of things, as uneducated as I am, that I understand. So the reason I say this is going to change, well, I got new shirts. I know I got three of these, but again, I joked that with this starting in a coalition and a team and a meeting, we're going to need letterhead and we're going to need a logo and calendars, and then we get to come out and report how we're making progress with the international community. And no, you're being played. You're being played. Uber has now announced a fuel surcharge in the United States for, it's 50 or 55 cents here, or 35 or 40 or 45 cents there. Whether you order food or you just need the ride. What about the electric cars? Well, there's the problem. We said if you buy an electric car, you don't have to worry about gas, but what about people who drive electric car? Oh, I know there's problems there, isn't it? I know. So, I cannot find it's the size of a postage stamp, but my head of Lenin I don't have. I have my little one. I have my, why you should not be wearing. Well, yes, I am. And then, of course, I have my occupation medal from the Russian army. So, occupied forces of other conflicts in the region. So, oh no, the uniforms are forthcoming. I just got out of the golf shirt to send because I had those 7 ones from my other life to the cleaners. We had to pull these out. Problem is, these don't have epaulets. So, can you have the chevrons? You need the epaulet. Oh, the uniforms are coming. Because Uber announcing we're going to have to add a surcharge because of the sudden spike in fuel, and that's going to be for the next 60 days. So, for the next 60 days, the fronts and the rears and, the borders of Ukraine may fluctuate, but this ain't turning off in the next 60 days. I say that because the military experts in the United States for the last 40 years who've been scaring you all to death every night with their secret military info about the most supreme, obnoxious things on the planet, not real technically oriented, are they? Not as strategic as we were led to believe. Where are all the billions of dollars wasted in that boondoggle. I hate to reference, God rest his soul, Bill Hicks, but it started with the deadly evil Republican Guard, the nonsense, and then the Republican Guard, and then it was, wait a minute, did the Republicans make it up about the Republican Guard regarding Iraq? Bigger problem. Headlines ending 3/11/2022, beginning 3 sorry, 3/11, 3/12/2022, now entering 3/13. I didn't do a time check. 104 on the East Coast, 9:04 in Moscow, 3:04 in Tokyo, 10:04 p.m. now on the West Coast. Iran launched a shell or a missile into Iraq and allegedly hit near a U.S. consulate. Okay. Oh, we're getting uniforms? And then we're going to have a summer uniform and then a winter uniform. And I get to bring out my babushka hat again. Again, I haven't worn medals. And these, all three, well, the bars didn't. The little one did, and the little one up here and the bottom one did on my carnival coat. Which is why I had that pin back then. And that was all from Glasnost, remember, of course, when then Mikhail Gorbachev came to the Minneapolis St. Paul area with Ronald Wilson Reagan and his lovely wife, Nancy. And they had the tour of Summit Avenue and stopped on, yeah, well, guilty as charged. So, have a Coke and a smoke. Follow and like and subscribe. You like the headlines. I agreed and I told my peers I would continue the project through the end of the month, which was the next 15 days. Beware the Ides of March. Fair enough. Well, send the clothes to the cleaners. Let's start creating uniforms, because this is not funny anymore. Fair enough? And lighting and microphone issues. Okay, trying an overhead light versus the ring because I couldn't see. St. Patrick's Day celebrated in Denver, Colorado, 3/12/2022. I was in Greeley. So if I have a doppelganger, then wow, that's cool. Send the pictures to scooter@scootermcgee.com. Here we go. 12 humanitarian, excuse me. You might as well just gargle with Coca-Cola now. 12 humanitarian corridors have now been created. Humanitarian corridors, remember, because they couldn't get their safe spaces and they couldn't get their no-fly zone. 12 humanitarian corridors have now been created for what's now expected to be 10 million plus Ukrainian refugees. So tomorrow, today, yesterday, depending upon when you get this, Google scooter, hashtag Scooterdamus, SCOOTERDAMMUS, Scooterdamus. Problem with now these refugee corridors and that number 10 million, almost the middle of March. The United States says Russia is now stepping up its propaganda. Gasoline prices are continuing to soar as the media now is focusing on the polling data. 65% of Americans are now changing their driving habits. See, that's all what the agenda is about, is massaging and changing your habits. So the fact that the media is now running with this story is interesting. Talking about how long it will take for all Americans to change their habits. Will it take $5 a gallon? I said in parentheses, we'll be at $5 a gallon, the national gas average, by the end of the month. What started as Maryland announcing, the governor of Maryland announcing that it was going to push legislation to suspend their state gas tax, You might want to go to Scooter Downes calling out Governor Polis weeks ago, because we're now into week 3, so I can say that. The minute this spiked. Oh, I'm sorry. The minute the oil. Oh, I'm sorry. Governor Polis, why don't you do this? Let's see how long it takes Governor Polis as of 3/12/2022. Uh, but now several, even Democratic states, governors are in the political toy. Well, if it's the governor, yeah, they're not going to do anything. Well, then I'll call for it. Demand it, because it won't get done. Um, ABC News, in doing the interviews at the gas station with the people, just the people, the people. Back in the studio. This is why people want electric cars, so they don't have to worry about gas prices. See, the you know what in the field is supposed to say something stupid like that. No, actually, none of them are. But someone from behind the camera should break the fourth wall and get on the set and slap them silly. This, again, the reporters in the field talking to the people who are upset. Oh, and the evil oil corporations and the gas companies aren't making as much as you think, because as much as you're getting gouged for at the pump, see, you're not spending enough on soda and beef jerky and pistachios and bananas. Can't wait till they nationalize the oil fields. This is why people want electric cars, so they don't have to worry about gas prices. I'm wondering if Jeff, the sportscaster, is willing to grab a 7 wedge and just come over for a little refresher course here. Um, the Dems, the Democratic, their party, because the midterms are coming, and they're about to see an ass kicking like we haven't seen since, back in the old days when the Hells Angels were in charge of rock concert security. Um, they agree they need to do better as they had their meeting in Philadelphia with now 8 months to the midterms. So we'll see what talking points come out of that. The media does have a new talking point. A new phase has entered in the war in Ukraine. A new phase. See, we're going to need uniforms and we're going to need coats. And now I know that the Don can't wear shorts, but can a general wear shorts? That's a legitimate question. The hats with the scrambled eggs, we're going to need those. Sad because I have those. Um, you all should be very concerned how I have an authentic Russian army occupation. Here, Google it. There you go. Get a good picture and then zoom in on it. There you go, because I'm making it up. Again, the same. Where are all of these Ukrainian refugees? How are they getting into Mexico? And then there's a crisis at the border. Okay, see, something's up. Something's not smithing. I can get one of these, but I can't get a Cat 5 cable delivered for 6 months. The media now reporting the hardship as we enter weeks into the conflict. Many Ukrainians unable to flee have now had to resort to makeshift bunkers and bomb shelters. I bring up the United States and more tens of billions of dollars that you've been fleeced out of. Where are your local fallout shelters? Whatever happened to our civil defense system? How come they turned off the radiation detectors and we can't even agree to keep the tornado sirens on? All of that was for our civil defense, and it's now been neutered. We're seeing where they had it and it doesn't have it, and oh my God, it doesn't matter because, well, they're having to live in the subways and live in the basements. And this is so and so, and this has been her home the last 2 weeks. And then it's gibberish while we hear the interpreter and that all they want is housing and free health care or affordable housing and free. Wait a minute. The interpreter is talking left talking points. Um, Another $200 million has been sent by the United States, allegedly, to aid the military and with weapons and armaments and hardware to Ukraine. And Vladimir Putin points out, okay, you're going to keep sending all this stuff. Well, things like that convoy that have been kind of just sitting there. Wait a minute. Convoy's yours. Yes, well, convoys are legitimate targets. And you're sending all that stuff, and something happens. Well, see, this is now more of that Russian propaganda we need to worry about. Meanwhile, Fox News is comparing Russia's behavior of attacking innocent civilians are a casualty of war, comparing Russian soldiers to ISIS. Fox News, Brian Kilmeade, comparing, Brian Kilmeade, front of the map and the PowerPoints, and we've got a logo, we've got a theme, we got crisis music. I'm getting all. You give me 2 weeks, I'll have a logo, we'll have a theme, we'll have a uniform. It would be great if you remember Art Fern, Johnny Carson. We're gonna need Natasha. Vladimir Putin points out that the convoys are legitimate targets, and if any attempt is made for attack, the West, not just the United States, the West will suffer consequences never before seen, alleging and suggesting that the nuclear, or as all of these military experts who seem so stunned of the lack of ability and preparation and technical skill and everything else of the Russian army, they're convinced that chemical weapons are next. Boy, all your other intelligence has been wrong since the Gulf of Tonkin, but this time it's right. Where were all the U.S. Okay, I got to that. Again, it reports that Iran has fired a missile that has allegedly hit near a U.S. consulate in Iraq. That seems to be the big breaking news everybody's running with on a Saturday night to scare everybody. Oh, no, they're not. Good, because the basketball game's on. Humanitarian quarters, you got to all that. Mariupol. Remember, originally 200,000 people evacuated overnight, and I pointed out the sheer reality of that can't happen based on the size of a town of 400. Well, boy, now all the 400,000. Boy, now all of the drone footage and the video footage, and there's parts of town here, and there's parts of town gone, and then this is where, well, we had 80 people. That's the other. Hey, what's this 80 people hiding in a mosque? Wait a minute. That's we have the children, and then we have the babies in the incubators. Sorry, babies in the incubators was another war. This one had the babies in the maternity wards. And see it, I'm going to need a big wall and a bunch of different colors of string. It's not funny. They're doing it again. Gonna need a helmet. I'm going. Yay! Got my helmet. Yay! What? This is why people want electric cars, so they don't have to worry about high gas prices. By the way, since the time of this show and airing at 11 p.m. Mountain Time, as of 10:20 p.m. Mountain Time, allegedly after the attack of the Iranians into the Iraqi airspace and the proximity of a U.S. consulate, Jen Psaki still hasn't tweeted for 2 days. Joe Biden's in Maryland again. Kamala Harris came back to have a quick speech in front of her crowd where everybody could clap and smile, and she talked about unity and the need And wow, God, are we in trouble? The backlash continuing out of Jesse Smollett. Jesse Smollett. What again? You look up the poster child for white trailer trash, and apparently that's racist because he's not going to kill himself. So he's setting up himself again for another false flag. What is this? Again, I thought white trash was an embarrassment to everyone on the planet. And, well, then he represents, you know, that big island of plastic trash out in the ocean everybody hates but can't really see? Couldn't we just replace that with him? Him, her, it, she, I, they, whatever it decides to call itself, other than a worthless waste of human skin, claiming that he is the victim. And somehow, if he dies in prison, he's not going to prison. He's going, most likely, I think, Cook County Jail. You know, I hate to bring up the Blues Brothers, but wow. Okay. He's not suicidal. I don't know. I just don't know. Thanks to a couple of you who did send me comments over on my Twitter feed as I asked why was Janet Yellen in Denver, Colorado for 311. Well, yeah, the public thing was, you know, part of the $392 million for this, we gave the Hispanic community this. And then she had to go tour the Denver Mint and pretend like she knew what a quarter was and what a silver dollar was. And then another oh, and we got to have masks. And well, then sometimes we don't because, you know, it's very important. It's important. And then we get to see a picture of somebody hitting a button on a control panel. It, that's why she came here. I'm glad you were aware and went and looked in the news to see if I was lying. She wasn't here for that. That was the cover story to get her into DIA and get her a little time on the ground. But I want to know what that worthless little chipmunk was doing here. Um, do we have anything else that we missed overnight? Facebook is maintaining its stance that it was not misinterpreted, and it is allowing posts regarding violence towards Russian forces. And if you want to announce that you want to kill Putin, you want him assassinated, and well, Facebook says that's okay. It's not okay. That's all right. Our terms and conditions are going to be temporarily suspended. Um, Continue reports of cyber attacks. And it would not surprise me for now as we are 313. A 313, a 317, or a 321. Not global, but large portions will be tested. You know, like you don't want to fully scram a reactor, so you have drills. I see those dates as potentiality of a possible, I guess, still be considered a major blackout. That would be major internet outages. Um, it is now official that Biden has revoked United States favored nation status, but see, that's great. What about the UN? And oh, more embargoes are coming, more sanctions, because I told you we were going to need a month just to see if the sanctions work. They don't work. They're crushing Americans. They are choking. They're choking off Europe. I mean, you think it's going to get bad? Oh, wait. But thank God most people in Europe don't have firearms. Wow. Okay, here's the number I came up with. They said they passed a $1.7 trillion spending plan that allowed for the continued operation of the United States government. It fulfilled some of the things that were still part of the build back whatever we're doing in COVID money, but it wasn't COVID money. And I didn't do a temporary, that's the wrong word. I did a preliminary breakdown. I found, now understand, here's what should scare the out of all of you. You know the black budget is bigger than the budget. And this isn't the budget. This is the continuing resolution to extend and override and allow for the continuing operation to prevent the government from closing. Imagine had the government closed during this. We wake up one day and just find out nothing happened. Well, there was nobody here. We couldn't have a meeting, and we couldn't, you know, have sanctions, and we couldn't suggest and propose legislation to prevent never ever ever happening again. It's being pointed out now by even the national news media here in the United States that before the end of the month, 7.8 or 7.9 inflation, no matter how you're slicing this thin, will be double digit in May, in April, excuse me, because we're only in March. The intelligence community continue to worry that Putin, and they're going to escalate this now tomorrow in the Sunday morning shows, that our intelligence suggests that there's going to be a chemical weapons attack. Meanwhile, no one is still getting a straight answer on who is paying for these bioweapons labs in Ukraine, and whether it's a bioweapons lab or a bioweapons research facility. And what are the research materials that are so concerning the intelligence community that allegedly aren't to worry about? It was debunked anyway, and it's not a hoax. It's all mystery. It's misinfo. It's propaganda. Doesn't exist. And even if it did, it was Russia's stuff anyway. Wow, they're really buying that. Hey, they drink green piss every St. Patrick's Day. It's not St. Patrick's Day. Meanwhile, tonight is daylight up time. So, continued pushes now for let's just leave it alone. Let's push our clocks ahead and never look back. You are absolutely retarded. You postmodernists just ain't gonna be happy till you burn the whole thing down, are you? You're just not. It'd be good for the environment. Really? Keep it where it is now versus where it's gonna go. Just for corporate America. See, corporate America we're already destroying by making you all work at home. This is all Plandopolis. And all these major metropolitan areas, and that's it. Go out to the wind farm, and you can go out to ag land, and you can go here, but you better have a travel pass because you can't afford gas. You'll have to ride share. Unless you're lucky enough to have an electric car. Oh, but maybe you don't meet all the criteria on the social, electronic, digital scales. Determines whether or not you live in a ghetto or in a free zone. Ooh, even worse. Soylent Green. I know, it's frightening. The media just laughs about I Am Legend and the price of gas in California now higher than the price of gas in the Will Smith movie I Am Legend. You know, wasn't that about a virus and then they needed to get a cure and then something happened and everybody became zombies? There was a guy sitting out just doing a little broadcast every day at noon going, I'm here, is anybody else? So, thanks for listening and watching and putting up with the number one podcast nobody knows about and even fewer people watch. My name is Scooter McGee. You can find me on the World Wide Web, hopefully at scootermcgee.com, SCOOTERMCGEE.com. That is my name also on Facebook, my name on Twitter, because as unpopular as I am, and I'm a fictional name, there's a whole bunch of people who tried to copy and be me. Well, if it sucks to be me, I can't imagine them. But I'm the Scooter McGee on Twitter. And if you wish to support this project, please subscribe. Please like. Somebody, for the love of God, make some noise. Be well. Be safe. I will see you every night or every morning, depending upon where the globe you are. 1 a.m. Eastern, 9 a.m. Moscow, 3 p.m. Tokyo, and 10 p.m. Pacific. Regardless of daylight savings or not. Be well, be kind, live long, Live prosper. Don't believe anything you read, see, or watch on the. Do a little research, because maybe the big shocking headline, then you actually read the story, you'll find out it's the exact opposite of what the headline said. We'll see you soon. Good night, Gotham.